Hello and welcome to another FNR Watch Along where we debate, discuss, react to the game as it unfolds. Tonight we've got Athos Sirianos up in Beaufort. How are you, Athos? Absolutely. Nick Hughes, how you doing?
Free to wear national team football. You love to see it.
And Joey, long time no speak, but you'll be reacting, filing, multitasking tonight. We had you on for a preview this afternoon with Nick Dabano, but I'm getting more and more excited about this game. I do like the look of Vietnam. I think they could be interesting opponents, and we've had some changes that we potentially didn't anticipate in the starting 11 in terms of the decisions that Arnold has made.
Oh, that Neuer's a danger man, isn't he?
He's everywhere.
How the hell am I supposed to how are you supposed to file on Vietnamese players' names? What's the naming protocol?
I think you just leave out the
Leave out the Nguyen?
Yep, the Nguyen is sort of ornamental. That's
Like,
how
do I
I
have to use
that's how I
Nguyen
think.
the first time and then
Yeah,
drop it for
I
early?
would say so. I would say so. I
Okay.
think that's the convention. But look, if anyone knows different in the comments, please help Joey out. We're about to kick off here. We've got Riley McGree coming into the starting 11, as well as Brad Smith at left back. What have you made of those changes, Joey?
Well, I think we were discussing a few hours ago, yourself, myself, and Nick Josh, about the possibilities because as we see kickoff getting underway in glorious not HD over there in Vietnam, that Riley McGree loomed as one of the probable replacements for Martin Boyle. I didn't think Martin Boyle would play after Arnie's comments, and it looks as though that Arnie has decided to go the what one might, well, only in a lot of pace and power options, and Riley McGree certainly is one of them. So we'll see how he goes about it. But early doors, Australia trying to break down this Vietnamese side. And look at that, Vietnam already 11 men behind the ball. Probably a bit of an indication of what we'll see throughout the rest of the game. And Australia playing the ball back, trying to drag them out of position.
It's interesting bringing in Riley McGree, who we know is a goal scorer. I'm not sure it's a like for like replacement though for Boyle, even if they might share some goal scoring attributes and physical characteristics.
I think you're looking at it as we saw Hrustic there, just getting a first touch on the ball as part of the double pivot. I think the creativity that Hrustic can provide from the midfield probably on the balance of it, it's more important to retain that than perhaps moving forward. So I can maybe see why Arnold has decided to go with Boyle on up front, not Boyle, McGree up front on the right instead of a Hrustic, and Mitch Duke can play there as well, but he's more of a central target man. So McGree now, as that ball gets whipped in, out for a goal kick.
Got a Korean head coach, Park Hang-seo, just cut to, who's actually was Gus Hiddinck's assistant coach at the 2002 World Cup when South Korea made such an impressive run as one of the home nations. So he's got lots of experience under his belt.
Look at that pitch. Jesus.
I hope you
Yeah.
didn't give him accounting advice. I hope it was strictly football. No money. But I think, would this be the first time since the 60s that Australia's senior men's team has gone to
I
Vietnam?
think they said in the pre-match it was we played them once in the 70s.
No,
Right.
this is the first official match between Australia and Vietnam.
Yep.
Previous
South
matches
Korea.
have been against like South Vietnam or
Yeah,
something like
okay.
that.
I remember that there have been tons of sort of stories about how they travelled up as almost as a propaganda piece during the war and played in that tournament in South Vietnam. So there you go. Nice bit of history.
Well, you've done a few articles on that, Athos, haven't you?
Yeah.
About
Yeah,
the tour of duty.
That's right. I spoke to Ray Richards last year. I had a good old chat about because he went there. He was only like young, and they took a very young squad. He was telling me like the average age was something like 22, and it was pretty a lot of the same team as that 74 team. So he was sort of saying that the journey started from there, and the 74 campaign where it was. I think Johnny Warren was the oldest one there, and they're all sort of in that late 20s. So they sort of stuck together for those few years and had qualified. Which was pretty cool.
Hristich is going to see a lot of the ball in this game, I think.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, did anyone else just notice the spelling error on Graham Arnold's super when he came on the screen? It said Graham Arnold with an M instead of an N.
Arnold.
Is that a Channel 10 thing, or is that a?
Might be an AFC feed thing.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
I do remember Ange being Angelos Postakos, which is apparently his legal name, actually.
It's his actual name, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
But it was a surprise to me at the time.
So
you're right.
Unlicensed version of Ange Postecoglou.
The PES version.
We're already seeing Vietnam just flood players into the box and forcing the Socceroos to float speculative balls in. So we might see a repeat of J. Rich Begaloo up front just with Harry Sutar if this keeps up.
Yeah.
The Egyptian defence with its senior international goalkeeper and World Cup capped senior defender, probably a slightly more difficult beast to break down through the air than this Vietnamese side, though.
It's as Devek has pointed out on the Twitch, it's quite unexpected to see Hristich playing as the deepest midfielder for his country. I don't think that's something we saw coming from him.
Well, he
wearing
played as part of
the
a
number
double
10
pivot against China.
The number 6.
Well, yeah, I mean, just in terms of his career progression, though, like in a long-term sense, like that's quite surprising. We thought he was more of a final third type operator, but.
Well, he's not going to, at this stage, especially the form he's in, he's probably not knocking the incumbent Rogic out of the starting 11.
Yeah, that's fair. I
And
mean,
you do
any way
wanna
you
get
can
him on
fit
the pitch.
Hristich in, I'm
Yeah.
absolutely in favour.
And I mean, given the alternative perhaps would have been Riley McGree as part of a double pivot and Hristich up front, I think this is a much more preferable option.
I do agree. I don't think McGree works very well as a
especially
six.
not next to Jackson Irvine. As
No,
one of my
those-
friends has since
those-
pointed out, they're basically the same player.
In terms of the runs they make, absolutely.
Oh, that's all right.
That was a nice ball from Irvine.
The ball's-
Centering header.
I don't know what it is. Each cross that's been delivered has just hung in the air for like 10 seconds before it's crossed.
The molten ball.
Yeah.
I believe they're also making the Conference League ball molten.
Oh.
Vietnam haven't touched the ball in Australia's half yet.
No, I think this is. I mean, it's very much a 5-4-1. The reason I am more enthused about watching Vietnam than some of the other opponents who set up similarly is that once they actually get the ball, there are a lot of technically gifted players in the team. Kwong Hai is the obvious standout with the number 19 on the right hand side.
Here we go. We're
So 7th minute before they got the ball in Australia's half.
Oh, dear
well.
Lord.
And it might actually.
Just as I was singing his praises, Kwong Hai misses the best chance of the game.
It was an awkward shot. I think it got a bad bounce, but I don't know. That was scary for a second.
Yeah, well, like Joey said, first touch in the attacking half, already danger.
So who skied it?
It was Kwong Hai.
Yeah, he looks like he rushed it there.
He hit it too high.
Yeah, he actually got underneath it. It was just a unfortunately timed bounce, and he sort of sliced underneath the ball.
Nguyen Kong Hai.
It was
So
a
I'll call him
significant
Nguyen
breakdown.
One.
Yep.
Call him Nguyen Kong Hai once, and then just Kong Hai the rest of the time.
I believe that's acceptable nomenclature.
If Langerick hadn't retired, do you reckon he'd be starting ahead of Ryan at the moment?
No. He never played for Arnold at club level. Him and Arnie and Ryan speak like once a week. Like they're mates once a week. And Matt Ryan's moved to Real Sociedad. He's captained the side.
Speaking of favourites, look at Ryan Grant, the only A-League based player able to join up with the squad.
Yeah.
Deemed essential.
Well, Arnie did also come very close to having Chris Economides in the side as well.
Yeah.
Economides was willing to do the same quarantine, stay there for a month that Ryan Grant did, but Victory wouldn't allow it.
And is that because Graham Arnold's never coached Melbourne Victory?
I think it's just more along the things that Economides is probably much more important to Victory's season than Ryan Grant is to Sydney FC's.
Another good comment from Devek. He's saying that he's hoping Gersbach or Smith find the club form to become our number one left back because he feels they offer a bit more attacking output than Aziz Bayic does. Any reaction to that?
I mean, to be honest, I'd be hoping that it's Joel King sooner rather than later, just 19, already playing, started every game at the end. Well, from a long-term perspective, that's the type of player that you want coming in and challenging the incumbents. I mean, Brad Smith feels like he's been around forever, and he is 27.
Yeah.
So
there's still a bit of interest around Callum Elder as a potential option. I still am a big fan of Gersbach if he ever gets the consistency because of his displays.
He's at Grenoble now, isn't he?
Sorry?
He's at Grenoble now, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. And just from that Confederations Cup back in 2017, I just thought he was unbelievable in that tournament. But
that Confederations Cup was like so promising.
It was
2017.
I mean, it's easy to look back on now with sort of rose-colored glasses, but the performance against Chile in particular, we took it to Germany. It was maybe not quite as polished against Cameroon, but
yeah,
it's the great what if, isn't it? If Vange had gone on to 2018.
But speaking of players who felt like who had been around for ages, Bayic, I remember him trying to head a grounded ball or pass along the ground in the 2010 grand final. And here we are 11 years later.
I don't think you'll ever live that down among Victory fans.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how successful he ends up being.
But it's probably more so because they lost that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they won that game, it wouldn't matter. But,
look how high Brad Smith's getting in possession.
Rustic was he gave that away. I mean, I guess we want our midfielders to be brave and try and play through the middle, but giving it away on the halfway line when defense is so exposed like that is
no good.
Nerve-wracking to say the least.
How good was the did you guys see the Survivor style promo for the Socceroos?
That's called cross promotion.
I haven't seen it, no.
It's really, it goes for like 3 minutes. Like you think it's going to end, but it just keeps coming.
Well, we're monitoring all your live stream comments, so send through any questions. Loch Ness says cross promotion is what Australian football needs, and I think we're going to see a lot of those spots. I mean, Archie Thompson on Celebrity MasterChef comes to mind. Don't know if that's the thing to push the A-League over the top in the mainstream consciousness, but it's part of a wider strategy.
Wasn't Archie on one of those quiz shows as well, like 15 years ago, famously?
Yeah.
Was it Hard Quiz?
No. What's it called? Was it It doesn't exist anymore.
He was
Temptation.
on Sale of the Century during the NSL days or the early A-League days.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a meme I'm not familiar with.
I feel like he was.
Send
Why
me
do
a
I
video.
feel like he was on Temptation?
Oh, good pass from
Great pass.
from
Here we
Suter.
go.
Yeah, Temptation, Sale of the Century. Yeah.
Oh, that was a pretty.
Oh,
it's in.
Scramble. That was.
Lino.
No, it's
Lino.
flag
Yeah,
up.
the ball was out of bounds.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought so.
That was out of bounds.
That was out of bounds.
That was out of bounds.
Oh man, I mean,
That's Brad Smith in the box again.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It is out.
Yeah, clearly.
Get Robbie Slater involved.
That was a great move, though. Very, just the vertical passing
Yeah,
straight
just
from the
straight
centre back,
first.
straight to Rogic, threads it through. That's good stuff.
Was that Sutar's pass?
Yeah, it was Suter.
Yeah.
Who did Sudo knock it to? Rogic?
Yeah, straight into the Rogic's feet on the half turn. Then he put it out to Mobile, and the scramble ensued.
Bill Smith
Knocked it in.
I have
Smith.
no idea who got the
Yeah, I
final
don't
touch
know.
there.
Keep it in. Crosses.
Irvine?
Oh, it's allowed.
So you know how there's going to be those games at Bank West?
I doubt they'll actually happen.
Well, the promised post-vax target Sydney games.
Would we be able to go? Like if they
No,
go?
absolutely not. No way we're getting interstate travel.
No, well, you'll be able to get into Sydney fine. There's no restrictions on getting in. It's whether you can get out, which is the
Oh,
problem.
Yeah, very true.
What if I drive there from regional Victoria? Is that maybe that can be my
That is no different whatsoever.
Yeah.
In fact, that's probably worse. Because you don't want to bring it back to regional Victoria.
True. Oh, they'll kill me if
Yeah.
yeah.
Good luck.
Bloody
Gary.
You'd be writing your own story in the paper.
It's like
Super Spreader Uncovered by Athos Sirianos.
Arnie's already tapping the watch. 15 minutes in.
Seem to be getting some international viewers on YouTube, which is fantastic. Van Yung Ka is asking us for our thoughts on Vietnam's team. Look, I'm pretty excited by this group of players. The team that made it to the final of the Under-23 AFC tournament in 2018 really just, like, the country went wild for it. My sister was actually living in Vietnam at the time, and it was just people go nuts and so excited about this group of players, and then followed up by, the performance at the East Asian Games, going to a semi-final and playing so well in the Asian Cup and only losing by a goal to Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a generation of Vietnamese players that I think it'll be a shame if they don't have something tangible to show for the progress that has been made.
At the same time, one must be cautious about extrapolating junior results at a senior international level.
Yeah,
Just
but
look at all the
East
World
Asian
Cups.
Games is also
Just look at all the
senior,
World
though.
Cups that Nigeria and Mexico have won, as an example. And do take note that overnight, France's under-21 side drew 1-1 with the Faroe Islands.
They're world beaters, the Faroe Islands. They're still coming down from the 2 wins against Greece. So I'm surprised they were able to.
Dr. Strange on YouTube asking, "Can you show the soccer match?" I wish we could, but we do not. We do not have the rights. This is intended as a second screen experience while you're watching the game.
If Dr. Strange gets an Australian VPN, you might be able to get her on 10 play or whatever.
There you go.
In fact, I think if he does visit the Socceroos official social channels, there are instructions on how to watch this game outside of Australia for
There you go.
international viewers.
Well done, Chris Carulli. That's why he's my friend.
Well,
Here we go. All right.
So
they're not a very tall team, Vietnam, are they? Some Rogic, Irvine, Suter, very much stand
Here we
up.
go. Oh,
I mean, that's always been the advantage for Australia playing against Southeast Asian nations. It's literally just a height advantage.
we haven't had a corner yet, have we?
No, and that's probably the biggest scoring opportunity you could ask for.
Australia hasn't had a shot yet.
No.
Oh, what was that?
But look how brave Sutar's
Well done,
getting.
Harry. Yeah, well done.
Go.
But then Mabil,
Oh.
it doesn't have the instinct to drive towards goal. He looks to cut it back.
Yeah.
When the angle was on to try to go for the byline.
Sutar looks like the grade 6 joining in the grade 3s. But you're right. He's just taking no prisoners. I reckon he's just almost like he's almost like he's had enough already.
Oh, decent
Lay
touch
off from
there.
Taggart.
Yeah.
Hags.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Balloon
counts
over the
as-
crossbar.
Counts as a shot at the
That
very
was
least.
just about, it's a first shot.
19. Australia's
He had so much time as well.
official shot skied over the bar.
I love his link-up play, though, Taggart. Just offers something different.
Him, Boyle, and Mabil, their movement and combination was really good against China.
Mm.
But this game absolutely is the type of game where Arzani can make a difference. You can just see, like, compare Arzani with the ball there to Mabil. Arzani's going straight at goal.
Very true.
What a weird goal kick! He just completely hooked it to where no one was. Except for Brad Smith.
Like hitting against the switch.
Yeah.
Shift, in fact, not switch.
It's very heavy pitch, it looks like.
Yeah. It reminds me of that Honduras one.
It's not quite that bad. But
So look how high. So that it's basically Trent Sainsbury back on his own on the halfway line.
attack versus defense drill at the moment. But see,
I mean, this is if Andrew Redmayne was in goal, this is the type of game where he's doing yoga for pretty much 60 minutes.
but that wasn't a bad sequence of passing from the
No,
Vietnamese playing out. When
Played that really well.
They got themselves out of trouble nicely.
This is the thing about this team is it's just a little bit they're less limited than they appear on at first glance, and that's what I like about this side. Was there a yellow card that came out there?
No,
I'm certainly calling for one.
Against Sainsbury.
On Herstich.
Oh.
Ooh, it's a bit late.
Oh.
Bit soft though, the way he went down.
Mm.
Can you tell we've got an Englishman on the call?
But look at that. So Australia is able to get numbers back, and pretty much Vietnam just pass it straight back to them. There we go.
Rogic hasn't
There's an
wasted much
opportunity to go here.
when he's got it.
Oh, that's a nice ball.
That's it. Go shoot. Here we go. First chance.
That is an unfortunate hairline on the number 8.
Yeah.
He does look ancient, doesn't he?
Goes into the Pandev files of receding hairlines.
Go on. Get this on H's noggin.
So 22nd minute, first corner.
Sutar coming in. You remember that scene in Deathly Hallows Part 2 when like the giants come across the bridge?
No, this is Jurassic Park, the water beginning to shake as the T-Rex approaches.
Here we go. Ah,
Oh, bit deep.
better delivery there for a stitch.
Well,
How
if
good's
it-
the goalkeeper's green jersey blending into the ad hoardings?
Yes. He just came out of nowhere just then.
It's the green screen ad hoardings behind the goal. So whenever the goalkeeper is in line with them, he disappears.
And the goalkeeper just gets it straight back to Australia.
Well, the only way Vietnam's going to score is
Transition. There it is.
quickly winning the ball back. A couple of short passes to get out of the counter press and then away on the.
Basically, what we saw in the 7th minute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
remember that China got out in transition in the 3rd minute against Australia and hit the side netting and didn't have another shot afterwards.
Oof, Page from Brustich.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then Ryan Grant.
Can't do anything with it.
Ryan.
Rogic has won a few balls back as well. I've been impressed with his hustle off the kind of loose balls.
Bad ball.
Definitely.
Just thinking, is Miloš Degenek? Miloš is a better header of the ball than Sainsbury, or is Sainsbury a better header of the ball than Degenek?
I think Sainsbury might have a slight height advantage, but I think
Degenek's a bit more aggressive, isn't he?
Yeah, I would say he's a bit more, like in terms of getting body position, he's probably a bit better. In terms of like the
one-on-one. I dare say you're probably not picking your centre backs based on defensive prowess for a game.
No, I mean Sainsbury clearly the distribution of the ball is his main strength.
His recovery speed.
Oh, gets Sutar attacking the ball.
That's it.
Speaking of the ground shaking, was it the 2018 World Cup where Sainsbury just had that amazing tournament? Was it that one?
Certainly wasn't the following year.
No.
I mean, he was pretty good in the Asian Cup in 2015.
Yeah.
Oh! That come off the knee?
Come off his knee, yeah.
I think the whistle went.
Sainsbury it was.
But I think the whistle might have gone against Sutar.
I remember my 16-year-old self in 2015 thinking getting so excited by that Sporanovic-Sainsbury partnership.
They're both so composed.
Yeah.
Well, we're onto something, yeah.
Looks like a goal kick was awarded.
Oh man, I am going to feel so much Schadenfreude if Arzani comes on and turns around the game like he probably can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this game is screaming out for somebody with his skill set.
You beat one marker and suddenly it begins.
The entire Vietnamese setup collapses on itself.
Yeah, you get the house of cards kind of effect, the dominoes.
Oh, Brian Grant's in a run. He's not going to get found.
Ian on YouTube says, watching in Vietnam, but no commentary, relying on you guys. Well, I don't know if we can call the game play by play, but
fantastic.
Might be stretching our rights remit.
Bulge in the net.
We'll do our best to keep you posted. It's...
Oh,
that was shaggy.
Not sure how much he knew about it.
To be honest, outside of a set piece, the Socceroos' best chance, twisted as it might sound, might be in transition themselves. Just immediately winning the ball back as the Vietnamese are trying to get out quickly and taking advantage of that to play through.
I mean, Sutar's just got so much time on the ball. I don't know whether we can repeat the trick again that was used against China with the ball straight over the top.
Yeah.
Got to be alive to that. That's an advantage.
It was a lot of luck there too. And it was horrible defending. And I don't know if this pitch will allow for the ball to bounce the way it did for, was it Nabil to get on top of it?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh.
There hell? Goodness me.
Nervous moments at the back now.
Oh, dear.
Well, I think we've certainly been a lot more nervous than probably the Vietnamese are in terms of position going forward. Was the coach calling for a handball there? Was he berating?
The first shot, this one here, looks like it might have been.
Well, there's no VAR in these games, though, is there?
I don't think so.
Was it my imagination?
It was outside the area, anyway.
Does his right arm go up there, or was that my imagination?
It looked like it. I'm not sure.
Oh,
or is there VAR? Is this what this delay?
I think so.
Because I think there was a delay in when they were checking that goal for Australia.
Apparently, the grounds that they are at is not set up for an online press conference. Fantastic.
Yep, there is VAR.
Shit, we could be in trouble.
This phase.
Yeah, checking possible penalty.
Oh no! No way! Come on, let's have some common sense.
Whatever that means, Athos. what is common sense? It means different things to different people.
Let's hope that.
Can we see a replay?
Let's hope they don't have the correct camera.
It would be nice. I think Channel 10 are limited by the feed that they're getting and the decisions of the.
Yeah, fair call.
AFC.
He's gonna give this.
Just, I would not want to.
Oh, he's going to the sideline. This is a penalty.
Oh,
as soon as they go to the sideline, you know it's.
Yeah.
But was he inside the box? I can't even remember.
Yeah, he's
it
in.
Looks
he's
like
in.
He had
his arms in.
he had 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah. No. Doesn't even hit his hand.
It hits his elbow. That's enough.
It's going to be a penalty.
That's going to be a penalty. Honestly, I can't really complain about it. Or does it come off his thigh first or his arm first? Yeah, it's arm onto thigh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it arm onto
Was it hit both at the same time, maybe? Hit the hip.
It's very much arm first.
It is arm first, so you can't argue that it's a ricochet. That's a pen. I mean,
no?
I still reckon it should be intentional versus, not intentional as the criteria, but that's not what it says. I don't think that's a natural silhouette.
No. He's going to take his time looking at this. I think the whole ricochet thing is what he's trying to figure out.
He's going to give it.
Oh, no! Yeah. I can't watch. No!
Oh,
play on!
Oh, yes!
Oh, wow.
There you go.
My new favourite official.
To everyone that says, Australia gets screwed over by the officials, let this be a reminder that sometimes. Oh wow!
Gee whiz! I wonder what he's seen.
Well, because from that,
I mean, it was.
I'm absolutely stunned by that.
Unless, because you know how they've sometimes used that they get out of jail free card. That's like, oh, we see angles that you don't. So maybe it was a case of that. Maybe we got the better angle on the broadcast. Because the angle we saw was from behind. So I don't know. Maybe they thought that it hit his hip or something first. But old mate, the Vietnamese coach, he is seething.
You would be. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
You usually get that these days.
Yeah, unreal.
So that has to be a wake-up call for Australia. Pull your fingers out.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's been aspects of this performance that I've quite liked, but the fragility as soon as the ball is lost is very concerning. And that might be a function of not having a proper holding midfielder in the team. As much as I love Rustic, he's not his skill set. And we don't really have a proper holding midfielder to call upon. Not an out-and-out sort of anchorman style six.
Well, I remember last time, I can't remember who we were playing. The last Australia Watch Along we did, and we're putting all our predicted lineups in the group chat. That number's the 6 was the toughest position to fill.
Oh, how's the offside trap? Flags. Oh,
have a pick.
The flag stayed down.
Was that Sainsbury?
Sainsbury.
It was.
Of all people that it could fall to.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I was insulting somebody in a group chat and missed that. Somebody let me know what happened.
So there was a free kick and they tried to play the offside trap, the risky one where all the defenders run up, and it didn't work.
Who had the free kick?
Australia and...
no, who took it?
I think it was Rustic. I think he's on dead balls, isn't he?
Vietnam.
And then Sainsbury got the ball and decided to try and square it instead of shoot. And by that time, there was a defender who'd run back.
So could I just say Sainsbury fluffed his lines?
Yeah. he was on an angle, so like it's debatable whether he should have shot, but it looked like it was falling nicely on his right boot after his first
he had
touch.
too many options, and he was just overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think he probably thought he
Here we
was
go,
offside as well.
transition, but
he shot from halfway.
No, he was getting rid of the ball because his mates
okay.
copped a shot to the deck. I'll say Nguyen Tien Lin's a pretty good mate. The second he saw the nut shot, immediately stops play.
I mean, sometimes you just know.
Bros before football matches.
That physio's a real bro as well, apparently.
I know.
Like, the Vietnamese players aren't the tallest in the world. How tall is the physio?
Yeah.
Vec, on the number 6 question, asking, is Diego the best defensive midfield option given we have Armini and Luongo out?
Well, the best defensive midfield option in the squad wasn't actually named on the bench, so then a genre.
Is he a defensive midfielder though?
It's where he played for MacArthur.
Okay.
I agree. He's probably better further up the field, but
more of an 8 in my books.
He was entrusted to be a 6 at MacArthur because he was basically the only midfielder that played consistently that could reliably run for 90 minutes and track back and cover. You know, Benyat, not exactly a spring chicken. Susaeta, not exactly a spring chicken. Milligan, not exactly a spring chicken.
Was it Kenneth Dougal that was in as a 6 in these earlier in the year? In the first qualifier?
Yes. Yeah, of course. Did he score off the bench in one of the games?
Yeah, he did. Much to Blackpool fans' delight. All right, second corner, 35th minute. Can they actually put it on Sutar's head?
Surely it's the only thing they practice when they do set pieces. They probably put it on his head about 1,000 times just to put it in the game.
We're getting a ring of steel around
it.
Getting a special
Aiden again.
Oh. Are they using Sutar as a Are they using Sutar as a decoy?
It looks like they might be,
but they're going to him every time.
And if so, is that too clever by half?
Yeah, I think that's overthinking things. That's like Guardiola in a Champions League
He's a foot taller than everyone else.
Yeah, they got him sitting so deep, but they're going to him. Like they're not.
It's back post every time.
Every single one has been over here.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
He'll keep that in.
Come on,
is that going to bounce?
That's
going to spin.
Better than
nicely. This. I did it.
Just 11 men in the box for Vietnam.
Fall over. Let's get it.
Crossing, win another corner.
Oh, he had a few. It's all right.
At this point, do you just send Matt
there
Ryan?
He
there he is again.
Well done, son.
Free kick against him.
Come on.
Well, that's the problem as a former striker who is a foot taller than everybody else at junior level. Every time you knock somebody over, it's a free kick just because you're so much bigger than them.
Yeah. Your elbow just naturally goes into their head.
Oh, and it went
Look at
part
that.
of his head that was receding as well.
That's a sore spot, you know.
There's no hair to protect.
There's no cushioning.
Exposed area. Oh, goodness.
I mean, I'm not sure what Harry Suter would be thinking in this situation. I mean, look how much time he's got on the ball when the ball goes to him in the back line under normal circumstances. Is he getting that long in the championship? Doubt it.
Mm.
Here we go. Bill into space.
Need a bit more from the bill.
Yeah,
need more from McGree. McGree's gone missing since the opening exchanges.
Oh, nice.
Tackled himself.
I wouldn't be opposed to withdrawing McGree at halftime.
Yeah.
That's been the wrong choice of a replacement for Boyle.
So basically, Australia have had enough possession to do something. It's just that they can't play through Vietnam and are doing this, just dinky dives.
He was offside.
Yeah.
They've basically just started to resort to knock the ball in, dink it in, knock down, shot.
Yeah.
Liam asking on YouTube, where are you lot from? First time watching, really enjoying, and he's also added Aussie slabhead. I presume that's a Sutar joke. And yeah, well observed. Very good comparison. If you are just joining us for the first time, we are Football Nation Radio. We're from Melbourne, Australia, and we do a lot of this live streamed content. We also upload pretty much everything we do in podcast form as well. So welcome, and make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you prefer. We're streaming across Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So multi-platform.
Excellent.
Devek reckons this is probably 8 out of our best possible 11.
So Boyle's 1.
Probably Boyle.
Karacic.
I don't think Brad Smith is our best left back. Just don't.
No.
I've never really rated him, to be honest. Just his decision making, I don't think is quite up there. I would put Bajic ahead of him, and maybe a couple others as well.
And would Moy? You'd think Moy?
I don't know about Moy. Not at the moment for me. He just hasn't played enough football. Obviously had a very rough time of it lately. I'm not sure if he's in the best 11 currently. I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that he breaks into that very, very soon. But how do you make it all work?
He leaves China and starts playing regularly.
I mean, I think that has to happen. You have to consider that transfer as a failure at this point.
Yeah, he leaves China. He finds somewhere where he can play regularly and see his family regularly.
That's it. Maybe a glorious return to the A-League with Melbourne City.
No.
Probably, hopefully a better league than that. Because he is better than that.
Find him somewhere in the Uber Eats.
Wouldn't mind seeing him in France. Honestly, I think Moy would be pretty good in Spain. I don't know if it's necessarily top flight, but
yeah, he's an interesting one.
There's a lot of kind of tempo controlling midfielders in his mould.
Yeah. That not so mobile, good ball player sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
Archetype. Oh, nice ball from
What a pass from
Matty.
Never seen Langrak do that. Maybe that. But I find like Mabils was making the same mistakes against China up until he scored.
The ref just got...
yeah, very much in the way.
Got in the way.
Andreas asking, why is Moy playing wide? He's not on the pitch, mate. That's Brad Smith.
Brad Smith.
With a shaved head. I hope that was probably a joke. But...
Wasn't Irvine at one when he was there Burton Albion's top scorer?
He played as a second striker in a 3-5-2.
Yeah.
That was his best, like most productive spell of his career, arguably, was at Burton Albion.
Yeah, they...
Nick DeBarno says he reckons Moy to Salernitana to play with Ribéry. I don't mind that. But, I mean, look, Nick, you may as well just jump on the stream, mate.
Fell asleep on the couch.
I love you in the comments, but you know.
Log on, you flog.
They need all the help they can get.
Oh,
here he comes.
Aaron Moy.
Aaron Moy on the left.
Why did he just? Sure. Nearly.
That was seemed an unnecessary position to cross from.
Oh, goal.
Oh, hello.
Here we go.
Yes.
Goal.
1-0.
Yes.
Yay!
Ryan Grant.
Fullback to fullback. Pump it
Fullback
into your
to fullback.
veins.
The grand final.
Pep Linders is loving that goal.
For all our Sydney FC friends out there.
that goal, I'm tweeting this exact thing, desperately needed. The entire dynamic of the game now changes.
I think I've got a slight delay on the.
It doesn't get to the country as quick
on the broadcast.
Really, I thought you were reacting.
So there's longer wires.
Earlier.
It doesn't quite get there.
Are you on the HD channel? I thought.
Yeah, I am. Well, the HD is normally like about a second behind.
Was that was Hrustic?
Yeah. It was actually Hrustic that put it in.
Yeah.
He was standing next to Smith, but it was actually.
So basically, the ball got recycled. Australia recycled the ball.
Yeah, it was cleared first and then recycled and then came back in.
It was
such
a
Australia. So Australia locked the ball in to the Vietnamese defensive third,
and as the defense tried to push out, cross came back in, and they didn't hold their line.
Outnumber at the back post.
So basically, it's exactly what I said. Viet turnover, but Vietnam turns it back over. Australia immediately pounce.
Pretty much.
What's happened here while the replays have been running?
I know.
The game has restarted, apparently.
That's another fell throw, Nick Hughes.
I know.
But it was such a hit and hope cross as well. I mean,
it was a good cross from the way that he curled it away from the goalkeeper towards the back peg where Australia had 2 or 3 players lining up on his left foot. That was a very, very good pass from Hrustic. Because it's Hrustic, I'm quite confident he meant to do that. If it was maybe a couple of the others, maybe not, but as it was for Hrustic, I reckon I know he meant to do that.
Well, after several quite poor deliveries from set pieces, he hit that one nice and sweet.
Yeah.
And
right into that corridor of uncertainty between defence and
goalkeeper. And I think
goalkeeper.
Channel 10 is the biggest winner here because it was an A-League player who scored, so they can market this incredibly well now.
Yeah.
Socceroos hero, Ryan Grant.
I still think Frank Karich is just a better right back going forward. But...
I think they're pretty interchangeable, to be honest.
Except Frank Karicic is 24 years old, playing in Serie B.
Yeah,
and he's going to make a push for Serie A.
I think he probably has more chance of improving.
And Karicic has only, actually been in the Socceroos camp for like one hub. English still isn't the best. A lot of growing to do from Karicic. Aussie Fran.
Good hold-up play from Taggart again there.
Oh, didn't need to do that.
Suter, he's just winning everything.
Again, I'm not totally convinced by Brad Smith's decision-making.
Suter was not getting sucked in at all there. He read him like a book, that turn.
Okay, big rip for the A-League memes admin that posted during the first half. We need a royal commission into how Ryan Grant gets games for the Socceroos.
Has the person controlling the scoreboard already clocked off, has he, for the half?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Hey, our scoreboard's still working. So.
Oh, yes. Excellent.
So 43rd minute was the goal. Fantastic.
Liam's saying we should have given some of the Ollie Roos a chance. Well, we're all on me and Joey at least are on the Daniel Arzani bandwagon.
And I'm the captain of the Dennis Genre ship, no matter what certain other types on social media might say. Once again, as I mentioned a couple of hours ago on your show, Josh, I've been watching these kids since they were playing down at, Dunstan Reserve in NPL 2.
The glitz and glam of the National Youth League.
On the bus to Shepparton, stopping at McDonald's at 10 o'clock at night on the way back.
And that should be just about half time. I mean, I don't think Australia has much to complain about to the referee for. That handball non-decision is a massive sliding doors moment in the game.
Yeah.
And it could have made it very, very tough. You can see how the confidence.
Oh, look at him go.
Oh, here we go.
The switch is flicked, and here we go.
Go, put him through.
Mobile.
Put him through there.
No.
That was actually a difficult ball to play. In fairness, to take it.
Needed a bit more space in behind to just knock it in.
Oh, he's done well there. Bloody hell!
I mean, this is the star of the Vietnamese
big
team.
Harry, just big boot in.
He's the one that missed the first chance and the one you were talking about, Josh. Yeah, the one number 19.
Yeah,
Nguyen Quang Hai.
Yeah, looks a very good player.
Best player in the side, and scored a belter against Saudi Arabia in the last match.
A what, Josh?
A belt.
An absolute belter. All right, well, that's the first half. Mixed feelings, as often is the case when we watch the Australian national teams play. Joey, your thoughts?
I'm just trying to come up with my 3 main talking points for my ESPN review of this game, and I'm thinking at the moment, at least, well, one of them would be very clear what Vietnam are trying to do. Massive numbers back behind the ball, catch Australia on the counter, which they almost did on 2 occasions. Very unlucky not to get a penalty. Second would be Australia, as a result of that plan, tons of the ball, inability to actually play through their opposition, though, as we were talking about, the goal eventually came from a Vietnamese turnover, a breakdown in play. So that's something to keep an eye on. Interesting to see who comes on in the second stanza for the Socceroos. Do you bring on a creative force like Arzani? Do you maybe bank on Vietnam being forced to come out of their shell a little bit and bring on player, a Mitchell Duke who can run at them and take advantage behind the lines? So will be interesting to watch moving into the second half.
Well, we've got some reinforcements joining the call now. Nick Stoll, welcome.
What's going on? You guys can only afford my halftime analysis. You can't afford my full 90 minutes of analysis.
Is this because I haven't subscribed to Stan yet?
Yeah, shout out to Stan. $10 is an add-on a month. No, look, I'm looking a bit disheveled, as you can see, due to the lack of haircuts you're allowed in this stage of lockdown. But it's very reflective of the pitch and genuine kind of lack of, I guess, professionalism around Asian football. So it's all good.
I think you've got an empathetic listener in Nick Hughes as well, in regards to haircut.
Absolutely.
Trauma,
can I ask you, in all the
hello, Mrs. Stoll walking in the background.
During all the lockdowns you guys had in Melbourne, did any of you guys cut your own hair at any stage?
I never resorted to it.
No.
I never did it.
I got a mate to cut it, and he did not bad job.
Bro, look at this. I haven't had this cut in over 2 years.
I didn't cut my hair for 5 years when I had it in the bun. But
wow.
I think this pitch hasn't been cut for over 2 years.
Yeah, pitch is in lockdown. Sorry. Nick DeBarno's joining us as well.
Yeah.
How you doing, Nick? 3 Nicks on the call now, just for added pandemonium.
We're taking over.
See, I've only seen about 10 minutes of the game, because watching the pre-game, sat down all ready to go, and then bang, out, wake up, and it's hearing penalty shouts and all that, whatever the hell's gone on, but it doesn't sound like much has happened other than the goal.
Stoll, what did you think of the penalty?
I'll just quickly say a great review of Channel 10's coverage by Nick DeBarno. Fell asleep. I thought it was great.
Thrilling stuff.
I thought it was great, Channel 10. What did I think of the penalty? I mean, I thought it was a penalty. I think his hand is blocking the shot. I think it was in the box as well. So I'm just very glad that referee is a bit incompetent and in our favour.
Some say incompetent, some say chill,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know,
Let it run, guys.
It does seem to be like they seem to be updating the handball rule all the time. And, now it's, I don't know. To me, I don't think it was deliberate. Like, I don't think he's deliberately trying to block the ball with his hand. But I do think we got an advantage from it because the shot was heading at least towards goal. I don't know about on target, but look, it was a lucky break for us. And it's not a good performance, definitely not. But if we get out of these 2 games with 6 points, away from home, World Cup qualifying, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm worried about how we're going to, come up against Japan and Saudi Arabia. But again, it's hard to judge. This pitch is ridiculous. It's 28 degrees. The humidity's off the scale. There's been some issues with preparation as well. So I don't know. If we get 6 points out of it, you got to be pretty happy with it.
The dynamics, you would have to say, of playing against a Saudi Arabia or Japan will be massively different as well, though. Japan aren't putting 11 players behind the ball every single chance they get and defending, as you said, on a cow paddock. So I don't know. It's the great problem with Australian football, isn't it? You don't want to just lay off and not provide proper critiques when they're merited, but at the same time, credit where credit's due. You got to figure out which is which.
Yeah,
5 shots.
Yeah, 74% possession, 320 passes to 115, with 5 shots and 1 on target each.
Just so you know, Stoll, much like Graham Arnold in training sessions, I'm banning the words heat, humidity, and pitch from the rest of this discussion. So if we don't mention the words, they don't become a problem.
Tell you what, the funnest part of this match has just been seeing Harry Suter just do his thing.
I mean, it is fun watching him clatter into challenges. I think it's a bit of an indictment that we haven't managed to find him off a set piece yet. Not the
I was going to say, I wonder if they bring on Moy early in the second half and then he takes a lot of the set pieces. Because one thing, I know Moy hasn't been playing a lot, but one thing I think he definitely gives you is, very good crossing ability, very good on set pieces, and that delivery. And it seems like we've been lacking it. I mean, look, the rustic pass is good, but it also, it bounces in the box. I mean, it's not exactly well defended. At a certain point, what are we actually saying here? So, no, set piece delivery has been poor, but that was actually something we flagged during the Olympics as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
For a team that is evidently becoming more reliant on set pieces, the delivery is pretty crucial aspect to it. So, I'm not sure. It's a worry for when we do come up against a team like Japan, who's going to have more of the ball, and we're going to sit, probably on the counter and only have 1 or 2 chances, probably off set pieces. That's when your delivery is going to be crucial. So I would imagine, unless Moy's under some kind of fitness injury cloud, he'll come in quite early, probably for McGree.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, it'd be interesting. You could probably, it'd be interesting as is Bajic as well. Come on. And then Arzani, I reckon, even just for fun. Let's bring him up.
100%. I mean,
last 20. I mean, I know. Look, I'm interested to see how someone who loves to dribble the ball is going to go on this pitch. But it definitely changed the dynamic.
I once saw Daniel Arzani play on Moreland City's home ground. If he can play on that, this should be no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's
just staying the replay
again. It doesn't look good with repeated viewings. Doesn't get.
How's the ball boy in the back? He just immediately knows and he's jumping up and down. Yeah, the best view of all of us.
I mean, there's no home crowd to apply the pressure, so I guess the ball boys have to do the job.
He had a good look, the referee. Like, he was there for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I was absolutely dead certain that it was going to be given, and
I thought when he did
there's a reprieve.
When he did the third umpire signal that we were goners, and that he was going to give it.
So VAR, third umpire.
The VAR.
Does anyone know why no shirts on the back of names in Asian qualifying? Is it because they can't agree on which, I guess, language to use?
Well, I thought it was because during the friendlies, isn't it? So they don't. Is it like a swapping shirt thing? So maybe
saves on printing. I think
swap shirts if there's no names.
Yeah, it just does make it look a bit,
bit
amateur hour. Yeah, like you're picking up a kit from Kmart or something in the discount bin.
But I do remember games that Australia's played where we haven't had names at the back of shirts.
I feel like we do it for home games for some reason.
They had them in the Asian Cup, didn't they?
Yeah,
Surely.
and I think like even like the 2011 and 15 ones, we definitely did.
Yeah, it just feels very much like, when you, I don't know, when you join a club and they're like, yeah, cool, here's last season's jerseys. Oh, yeah, sorry, number 7, bit big for you. But anyway, here we go. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Speaking of number 7, how good's Roston Griffiths going to number 5? Giving Lecky the 7.
I mean, you got to, surely. if you're Roston Griffiths and you don't give Lecky the number 7.
Well, it's 5, not 7 minus 2, unlike some people think.
Just on numbers, I'd love to see Martin Boyle no longer be number 6 for the Socceroos.
That does my head in. Anyway.
Yeah.
As long as he keeps scoring goals, I guess he's allowed.
Yeah, I think who is number 11 for the Socceroos?
That's Mabil, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, he can be 11. So tag at 9, 10.
Hrustic. Yeah.
Keep Hrustic at 10.
All right. So, what can we give Martin Boyle then?
But
Do we give him like a 14 or a 17 or something?
14's McGree, I think. But
17. Genre has 17.
I think
Bailey Wright, number 8, is a bit interesting.
Oh,
James Jago has the 7. Surely just get Boyle, give him the number 7.
I think that might only be for this squad. But which is probably the reason why they don't have the names printed. Because there's too many changes.
True.
With COVID.
Well, you look at the England games. Harry Kane came off the bench in the second game. He was wearing number 20 or something.
Yeah, I did notice that. A bit strange.
Yeah.
That's stands for the amount of years he's got left on his contract at Tottenham.
Speaking of Tottenham, I'm very glad you said that, Josh, because I've been waiting for an opportunity to say this. Daniel Levy has been named on the European Club Association board in some very interesting news out of Europe. So we'll see.
I thought you were going to tell us you got a job with them.
Communicado official.
So all the Agnelli comes to Tottenham and sorry, not to Tottenham, the other dude, Paratici.
Wait, so
got that?
Yes, the sporting director.
So Levy's on the European club board or whatever, but Tottenham's in the Conference League. I feel like your team's got to be minimum Europa to be getting on. Like,
they're a Super League club. What are you talking about, Nick?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Along with Arsenal, 20th in the Premier League.
I just want Daniel Levy on El Chiringuito. That's all I need.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, look, I'm not going to stick around for the second half, unfortunately.
Our subscription styles ends in about 5 minutes. So
yeah, that's right. But my cameo appearance. But what I will say is I can predict my full-time analysis. If we go on to win 1-0, then it's, you know what, not a great performance, but at least, we got the 6 points from 2 potentially banana skin games. Great. If we go on to score a bunch of goals, well done. Picked it up in the second half. And if we go on to lose, well, this is a disaster and serious questions need to be asked. And I'm hugely worried about future games. So feel free to use any of those 3 as applicable based on the result.
Good stuff, man. Pinch hitting for us. And, if you wouldn't mind, considering we obviously paid to book you on Cameo for this, if you just give my mum a birthday message before you go and then...
Yeah, of course. Well, shout out to Josh's mum. I know you're doing it tough right now. Look, you raised an excellent young son who continues to produce wonderful football content. And I just want to say happy. I'm going to say about 58th birthday. If I had to guess your mum's age.
Oh, hugely insulting. No, I'm just kidding. We're very close.
Man. Missed opportunity to just say that, I'll go, she's in the next room. I'll go and let her know.
Inappropriate.
Joey.
Very inappropriate.
Brutal. This is why your cameo doesn't work.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
I'll
Stolich.
keep listening in.
peace.
See you, Nick.
Nick Stoll.
Does
Delightful
Luke
as always.
have neck tats?
Yeah.
Yes, I noticed that.
He does. He's always had like the long sleeve tattoos, which doesn't really jive with his apparent personality.
They breed them tough in Wollongong, I'll tell you that.
Barry says, need to move the ball quicker, more movement from players to drag players and create some space. Holding the ball at the back simply allows them to get their shape again. Well, I think ball speed is a common objection, but dare I mention the surface again?
I was going to say
the ball doesn't travel that fast on the deck. I mean, look, you got a good angle of it now as you're watching the substitutions come on. It's very choppy, so it's pretty heavy pitch. Devex asking World Cup every 2 years, yay or nay?
Oh,
Are we allowed to swear on this, Josh?
Yeah, sure.
Get absolutely fucked.
Hey, when I swore, Josh, I was told I had to pay money, so that's not very fair.
No, but you know, Joey's got the Disney coin behind him to fill the surge up with, so it's not such a big deal.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse can bundle him out.
What I will say is pretty exciting is I think before November 23rd, we've got another 4 Socceroos World Cup qualifiers to look forward to.
I mean, this is the real stuff. I wasn't particularly enthused by
100%
us smacking Chinese Taipei or whatever. But
yeah,
I think we've got our next 2 games are Oman and then Japan in October.
We will learn a lot.
Our home games at least here.
Well, that's against Saudi and I think I can't remember who it is again.
It was Oman and Saudi we got at home.
Well, very few teams have a home advantage at the moment. Like, I don't think it matters that much.
Well, Japan's playing in Japan against China. Oh, sorry, no, they're playing in China. Sorry, after this,
it would just be good to have Arnie back home. I feel sorry for the bloke. He's been living out of his suit for almost 4 months now, so I think it'd be good if he could actually come home.
Problem is, he won't be allowed to see any of his family. He'll be wearing a tracking device.
That's right. Yeah,
he'll be wearing a tracking device, not allowed out of the hotel or the squad, so he doesn't have to quarantine. And then they'll immediately get on a plane and leave for the next game. Only way he'll be able to come home. Yeah, the only way he'll be able to come home is if they get an agreement to play their next game at home, and it's worth him coming back and doing 2 weeks in quarantine.
Jesus Christ.
Liam says, I've seen better fields in MPL 4.
MPL 4?
Do they have that in New South Wales?
New South Wales has MPL.
It does go down to 4, doesn't it?
I don't think they don't have as many state leagues as what we is in Victoria.
Pretty sure the Newcastle Jets are in NPL 4. At least they were.
So they're not in northern New South Wales?
No, I think they left because the quality is better in NPL New South Wales.
Adamstown Rosebud just didn't cut it.
Devex says, just quietly, guys, Oman looked more capable than Vietnam on the break. So I guess we'll... I mean, we beat Oman pretty comfortably last time we played them, but that was a few years ago. So.
Was that in the Asian?
There was the warm-up game before the Asian Cup when R.I.P. Pim Verbeek was still in charge.
Well, let's just all thank God now that Ali Al Habsi doesn't play for Oman anymore. That's what I was going to say. I recall Oman were actually quite decent.
Well, in 2007, they
10 or 15 plus years ago.
In 2007, it was 1-1 draw in our first ever Asian Cup game. And I remember they first. Was it like Timmy scored at the end? Yeah.
No, Al Habsi.
What a player.
Yeah.
He was the first ever like rare gold player I ever got an ultimate team.
10-year-old me, or 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old me. Start of every Premier League off season, as soon as Fantasy Premier League launched, he was straight in my team.
Because he'd make that many bloody saves.
My chief goal scoring option.
Would he be in Wigan's team of the century?
100%. 100%. I feel for the bloke. He got benched for the FA Cup final, and Joel Robles was the starting goalkeeper.
He'd still get a medal though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he got a medal.
Yeah.
It's not like the AFL.
Not like the AFL.
Yeah.
What's he complaining about him?
Yeah, it was easily been our best goalkeeper.
That was comfortably the worst switcher of the night, and somehow we won a throw from it.
It's
was
skin.
sailing out for a goal kick.
Oh, old mate who's. I love how the camera panned from the Vietnamese player who's losing his hair to Brad Smith who hasn't it. It's like a sign of things.
Brad Smith looks like he's given it an extra once over with the razor at halftime.
Is Brad Smith's at
Crying.
Seattle Sound?
Yeah.
Still, yeah, I think so.
Are they the ones who come out to the Rude Sandstorm?
It's one of those.
I thought it was,
names.
come on, Seattle.
Yeah, then. Yeah.
Fight and win.
Might be coming up against Romeo Beckham soon enough.
Where art thou indeed?
Surely Hellas Verona signed Romeo just for a laugh.
I feel like that's a very bad idea, actually.
They may as
I
well
don't feel
just
like it would
sign-
end well.
Sign a Montague and a Capulet whilst they're at it as well. The closest thing to a Juliet, like someone with the surname Juliet.
Would that be more or less gimmicky than Newcastle signing Santiago Munoz?
I knew exactly what you were going to
You might
say.
be able to play against Fulham next year if they get relegated.
Remember my goal against
Fulham. that dialogue lives rent free in my head.
It would be even more on brand if, like, they signed some League Two fodder called Gavin Harris as well, just because his name is Gavin Harris.
Can you put the ball on his head?
No, he can't.
It was like they're going for a volley. Is he going to catch it on the half volley and just thunder it in?
What a ball!
What a
Oh,
Kwang Hai
Transition.
player.
Deflects away.
Where does he play, Josh?
He plays for Hanoi. Like half the team do.
Just every time Vietnam get out in transition, there's this foreboding sense of dread that just comes with their clarity of purpose and organization.
man, he's
traveling.
I know.
I mean, does it sound too much like a old world game think piece if I say what's stopping an A-League team from going out and signing a Kwang Hai?
How's this for an idea? We stop telling A-League you should be signing South American players, you should be signing Asian players. How about we sit down, shut up, and let A-League clubs recruit whoever the fudge they want?
They want to sign
like football clubs all over the bloody world. Yeah, and if they want to sign the Brexit Brigade, they can finish wooden spooners, can't they?
I'm not going to lie. The sick part of me is going to miss Rudy Justad, watching him every week just for the bands.
I still think it's fair to criticise when the level of creativity and the level of quality in the visa signings has been so poor recently.
I know, but this talk of there should be edicts surrounding who A-League club should sign. Sod off.
What about the 3+1 as an edict?
Maybe.
Or 3+1.
Only because that's in line with the AFC, but this
or 3+1+1.
There should be like an overarching strategy about targeting South Americans and Asians. Like, no, sod off.
No, I don't.
This is already a Mickey Mouse league. Let's not.
I don't think the nationality is relevant, but I do think there are hidden gems that aren't really being looked at. I mean,
there's hidden gems being looked at in the NPL, not being looked at in the NPL.
Close at home, of course.
Well, that comes down to just having good scouting at the end of the day. Got to know where to look. You don't invest in scouting, you're not going to find them.
And to be honest, I would much rather A-League clubs figure out how to properly recruit from the NPL before we started talking about Asia.
Well, remember the last two players that came in, from Southeast Asia to Newcastle, how that turned out.
Oh, the Instagram king.
Yeah.
Good question from Devek, who's been coming through with great ones all night. Guys, the youngsters in EPL academies aside, who is our next Aussie to make it to the Premier League? Sutar, due to being in the Championship, he suggested?
What?
It'd be almost certainly
what's his
Sutar.
name? Who's the dude?
who's the Man City dude that we have, but he might not actually play for Australia?
Robertson.
Yeah,
I think he said.
I don't see Robertson ever actually playing for Man City. I think he'll join the loan army and then eventually end up somewhere else.
Eventually end up in the Belgian second division.
Like the weight of numbers is working against every member of that City academy.
Yeah. Well, he said excluding the players in the sort of academy systems.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, true. Mate, I guess.
I think the question's excluding Sutar, though.
And Moy.
Bahich and Moy both coming on. Well, those are the subs we flagged, I guess.
Martin Boyle could earn a move to a low premiership side if he wins the Scottish Golden Boot.
Surely,
I think he'd be more likely to go to the championship, but you're right.
What about nice Megs. What about Mabille getting picked up by Brentford with their connection with Midtjylland? Not
a chance.
Not good enough.
Yeah. If Mabille went to any team, probably would be Brentford in the Prem. I wouldn't want to see him in the Prem. I'd like to see him somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm just not sure Mabille has the consistency of end product and decision making.
Oh, dearie me.
He can do some brilliant things, but he's just not consistent enough for the Premier League, I wouldn't have thought.
Taking McGree off.
How small is the fourth officials board?
I know. And why doesn't he have room for one number?
Yeah, well, exactly. That's why it's...
So do we think that McGree actually ever play in Carolina?
Page to left back, Moy into the midfield, Hrustic onto the
moves
right.
Up yeah, that's got to be it. Because that was Jackson Irvine. No, yeah, Jackson Irvine's his name. Is it? Yeah. In shot, and he wasn't moving forward.
Yeah. He'd be the only other one who could change positions, and you wouldn't want to play with Irvine wide anyway. I just don't think that suits him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
So there you go. Immediately
try and loft it straight over the top.
To Hrustic.
I mean, this is still a very dangerous situation for Australia until they get a second goal.
Yeah, it's only a goal up. I mean...
we talked about how the first goal changes the game, and it does, but...
It changes the game in the sense that Vietnam are getting a bit more adventurous now.
They are, definitely. They're risking more, but is that necessarily a good thing? I mean, it's not necessarily a good thing for Australia.
I guess
they have looked... I mean, I've been very nervous whenever they get past halfway. What happened there?
I liked your point, Joe, about the clarity of purpose that Vietnam seem to have in their rare forays forward. They seem to know exactly what they want to do with the ball, which I guess, is maybe a function of, having less possession. You're definitely going to attack more directly and more purposefully when you get it, but...
And that's also because they were clearly organised.
Yeah, they've clearly got a very disciplined game plan.
Park Hang-seo clearly said, all right, situation A, you do B, situation C, you do D. And they've clearly listened. They're not just breaking in transition and inshallah. They've actually got a plan when they break in transition.
Kind of what spaces they're trying to fill and which players interchange to try and get themselves...
Well, because, in transition...
Totally unmarked there. Yeah. I know he's ahead of the front post, but...
Yeah. In transition, running at Harry Sutar is absolutely the right thing to do. He is many things. Agile is not one of them.
Semi-trailer analogies come to mind.
Turning circle of an elephant with a busted ass. It's a bit unfair.
Just a tad.
But yeah, like running straight at him, making him backpedal, making him change direction in transition is the right thing to do. Taking advantage of the fact that Arnie likes to have his wingbacks pushing up is the right thing to do. And Vietnam are aware of that. But Arnie needs to pull his finger out and bring on us, Arnie. Put him on the left for Mabille.
Yeah. There's only 3 subs, I assume?
Yes. I feel like we had this conversation last time.
We did. But there were
That
5
was
in the
about the
Olympics.
Scottish League, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was the Scottish League.
Yep. So only one change to come in.
No, Australia made 4 changes against
Yeah.
No, 5 changes against China.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. There you go.
Devek says, can't believe Arsenal chose to sign Ramsdale rather than just keep Matty Ryan. Well, Ryan was on loan, wasn't he? So
Ryan was on loan, and he's also 30, 31.
yeah.
Ramsdale's 22, 23.
Ramsdale was expensive, though. Much more expensive than Ryan.
English tax.
I guess they do have a local player quota that they have to fill out, even if it's not that restrictive.
Do appreciate Arnie subbing off Smith when he brings on Moy. Keep just one bald bloke on the field at a time.
Avondale's Branson just tweeted that as well.
They got one quota.
No.
Oh, the ref was not by. He was buying that. And
Pretty sure old mate Andreas still thinks just Moyes just been on the pitch the whole time. So
oh dear. Did anyone ever raise the whole number thing when Timmy was playing for Australia, being like the number 4 and all?
I guess he just made it his own so early, and he used to be a midfielder, so 4 wasn't that
Was he like
outlandish.
Was he 17 at one point, like early days?
Possibly.
That was what he wore for Everton, wasn't it?
Oh, he did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he might have done.
Oh, boy, oh boy, wow. Take, oh, man.
Who had that shot?
Number 20.
20.
I'm just not trying with
Van
pronunciation.
Duk.
Yeah, that's the one. Vietnamese has got to be one of the toughest languages in terms of pronunciation for English-speaking Westerners. So we apologise for anything we've butchered so far tonight.
Has anyone got Stan Sport yet? Because the Champions League starts this week.
Yeah, I'm waiting right until
Tuesday night.
Champions League Eve.
Yeah.
Well,
I got it because I was watching the qualifiers with Ange and so forth. I watched a few of those.
But I think it takes until daylight savings for all the games to be on at good times, or is it the other way around?
Liam's asked, what do you guys think our chances are if we make it to the World Cup? And I think if is the operative word there. I don't think it's a sure thing by any means.
Valiant defeats against Argentina and Spain, and then crumble against whoever the third game is.
It all depends on the draw.
It's literally impossible to answer until you know.
Really hard to predict. I wouldn't expect us to do anything historic like make it out of the group stage for the first time since 2006.
We've got to get a win first. We haven't had a win for 11 years. I mean, in what, 2 World
Cups? We haven't beaten a team at World Cups in Serbia, right? So
yes, correct.
2010.
Of course, Australia are amongst the top 10 nations in terms of streak of World Cup qualifications.
Yeah, we always get there.
Second best in Asia. Only Japan has a better qualification record for Asia, I think.
That's because they hosted one.
I wouldn't expect Australia to pull up any trees if we do make it, but qualifying is treading water, or is it success? It's an interesting conversation to have.
The thing is about like the groups is like everyone's going to look at us at Australia as like their win.
Yeah, pencil in 3 points for that game.
That's right.
I mean, wasn't this around the point against in their previous game where the Saudis blew Vietnam's doors off around the hour mark?
Yeah.
They had 2 penalties, didn't they, Saudi?
Devek says we're only 26 wins away from matching Italy's current run. Loch Ness says if we hand the ball over
yeah.
like this against Japan, it will be a very long game. I can't agree more.
This one's been a long game.
I mean, this sort of last 10 minutes or so has not been particularly encouraging.
But I mean, like you can't compare this game to the Japan game. This game is going to look nothing like Japan.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd probably guess that Australia will see significantly less of the ball against Japan in Japan. Versus, what are the possession stats right now? Australia had 73% of the ball.
Yeah. Yes,
Saudi Arabia
scored. Saudi scored 55th, 67th, and 80th against Vietnam, with the first and third being penalties. And Vietnam also had a 54th minute red card. So all the goals came after that.
Branson's pointed out South Korea's record among Asian nations. 9 straight World Cups they've qualified for.
I knew that was the better one then.
Including one as a host nation, of course.
Yeah.
Tags, Bill.
Few good years there.
That was just a terrible first
that's
touch
nice shoot.
Go on.
Mobile slowed that move so.
Yeah, he's disappointed me tonight.
Yeah,
Mobile.
just hasn't turned it on like he was quite good against China.
Mitch Duke.
Here he is.
Come on. Oh, tags off.
Straight swap up front.
One of my mates just texted me, "Holy shit, Taggart is playing."
He's had some nice
I think
follow-up play. He
he's
just
been
hasn't had
okay.
anything in front of goal apart from the disallowed one that was obviously out of bounds. So at least Mitch Duke will give us some aerial presence.
I don't know how he's going to go doing the splits on this ground, but if he scores,
Your feet will get stuck. It's hard enough in studs at the best of times.
Still amazing how we haven't played Iran in like
24 years, yeah.
I've never seen us play Iran in my lifetime. It's amazing.
You'll be glad not to. Blessed not to have any memories of that game.
Well, we've played Bangladesh. Played everyone.
Played Cameroon. Played all sorts of teams in a space of time.
We played, I remember, Costa Rica in one of those the games to see us up to the World Cup.
It's been the most strange Socceroos opponent. That's good. Like lowest ranked.
Lowest ranked. I don't know if it's lowest ranked. I remember randomly we played South Africa in a friendly once.
So big appeals from the Vietnam bench for this one against Irvine. I thought it was pretty innocuous. I didn't think it was that bad.
The referee's
just laughing it off. This referee loves us, so.
And that coach doesn't. What are
That
they?
says Taggart is the number 9 we need. Can play with his back to goal. Good aerial and physically and decent finisher.
Ooh.
His goal scoring record has a lot of catching up to do, but also big shout. Most complete number 9 we've had since Dukes, which is always a burdensome comparison.
I know.
But I don't disagree.
Well, Taggart won a Golden Boot in Korea, didn't he?
Who's the best 9 we've had since Mark Viduka?
Tommy Urich, 2015.
It's a very good question. I guess the
Best
reason
from
that Mark
best from
Viduka's name
Socceroos?
is still mentioned is that we've never had anyone match.
Yeah.
or even come close to matching his quality. I guess Cahill did a decent impression of a striker in terms of goal scoring, if not in terms of all-around play for many years. Well, it's a nervous final 20 minutes. This will be a very damaging couple of points to drop if don't see this out.
Especially considering Japan lost, so if we keep, we'll always be 3 points ahead. And it'd be good to have
an absolute gift.
Yeah, it'd be good to have that buffer, when by the time we come up against them, because anything can happen by that point. Oh. I wonder whether fatigue will come into today.
Oh, sorry, it's just another good comment. I think this is the longest 70 minutes of football I've ever watched. Our vaccination rates may hit 80% by full time.
It's a bad game for 10 to put on their at a decent time.
Short memory, Vivek. I don't know if you were watching our watch along for the Spain game, but in the Olympics, but I think that was a considerably sharper descent into insanity on that.
Pretty sure the group stage meeting between the Matildas and the USA, pretty sure the last 20 minutes of that took 3 hours.
Oh, I just tuned out of that one. I was staring at my phone. I wasn't even watching the game.
And then the next game against England was like unbelievable. I remember I was watching that at the pub.
Yeah, I had that on my phone on the way somewhere. This is a difficult one to keep track of. Back in those few weeks where we could leave the house.
Right, that's right.
That's a great ball.
Oh,
well done, Ryan.
We're going to break quicker there.
Mitchell.
Overlap.
If he just turned around, just give him a shout, guys. I don't know if I blame that on his lack of situational awareness or a lack of communication from his teammates, but
it was a great ball from Grant to split the lines.
Mate, it looks like we're playing at half speed. Oh, boys. Oh, well in. Who was that? Was that Duke?
Yeah. I think
Liam with a
removal from the midfield has not helped our ability to keep the ball.
No, it doesn't seem like anyone's really getting a foot on it in that area. I wonder whether now's the time to take Irvine off. Whether that's too much disruption in that area of the park.
Like they have become even more inert in it's just throughout this second half. All of this second half has been poor. Fatigue, maybe having the lead. There's less impetus. There's less desire to take risks and open up chances in transition with the lead. I reckon that's probably it. Just the aversion to risk with the lead. You don't want to open up opportunities in transition for the Vietnamese.
It was a nice little interchange with Hristich there. It breaks down. Wasn't a bad idea. Just needed an extra runner out to the right.
As good as we've looked all second half.
Interestingly phrased question from Liam here. Do you lads think Arzani has the ability to be as legendary as Cahill was? I would say
The
that
ability.
I would say that Arzani arguably is more naturally talented than Tim
Arzani is
Cahill
a
ever
much more
was.
naturally talented footballer than Tim Cahill.
But it's all up here. I mean, Cahill has, and no one will, dispute his work ethic and his mentality and the way he dealt with setbacks in his career, because he was a late bloomer, but he played for a long time because he looked after himself and
nearly never got to Australia with FIFA regulations.
So he had a lot of barriers to success, and I think the reason he got so far and had such an incredible career is largely down to work ethic and attitude, which is...
And it's like, even if Arzani does realise his potential, he'll be a completely different player than what Cahill was. They'll have completely different legacies. Yeah. The same way that, nominally Viduka and Cahill both played up front, but they've got vastly differing legacies because they were vastly different players. It's not, like a binary thing.
It's kind of a stretcher.
But it also, raised the question about what that word actually means.
Well, it's like the old can they versus will they. Like, of course, they can. It's like you said, it comes down as to whether he's got the drive and the will to go on.
And part of Cahill's legacy is obviously the achievements and the goals he scored and so forth. But part of it was also just the place he occupied in not just the Australian football psyche, but the Australian sports landscape as the guy, the Socceroo that came to mind for years and years and years.
He was always like the battler, like growing up, and he was sort of almost like a bulldog. I mean, look where he played. Started off at Millwall.
And his reputation and that public image was so impactful for the game. He always drew attention to the sport. And I don't know if Arzani, regardless of how good he is and, how his career could go any one of two ways at this stage, but I don't know if he'll ever occupy the kind of cultural place that Cahill did. And what led to that was not just his personality, but also what he did in a World Cup game. Oh my gosh.
Going?
Ryan.
Oh,
What is happening?
Oh, dear.
Oh, my goodness.
There could have easily been 2 red cards there.
Well, that was a hairy moment, to say the least. Matt Ryan, way, way outside of his box. Nearly brought a player down. There was an empty net for quite a bit of time. He missed the ball entirely, and somehow Australia survived.
Oh.
Wow.
There you go.
So he's bringing on Jego.
That's it. Yeah. Holding midfielder, see it out.
But he can't play for number 7.
That's the 4th change, right?
Yeah.
So one more.
But have we used 3 windows yet, though?
Yes.
Yes. We made a double sub.
So that's it.
Very
you can't make
true.
any more because you only get 3 substitution windows. So that's the
Very
last
true.
change.
Very true.
I'm not sure that's really
unless he's like
good idea given the sapping conditions to leave a sub unused.
Yeah.
Unless you just forgot.
Oh yeah.
Wait, hold on. Vietnam have made. How many windows did Vietnam use?
Not a clue.
I have no
Joey.
idea.
So what? That's just so like Ryan just got like caught in 2 minds there, didn't he?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Actually, he got caught in one mind that was, I'm going to run out off
When
my
he
line and get the
misjudged
ball,
a
and he
long
missed
ball
it.
over the top. Yeah.
Sainsbury just ran into midfield, by the way. Just went on an adventure there. Luckily, Jego covered him. Oh my
Oh,
God,
God.
Ryan.
Oh,
Ryan Grant this time, not Matt Ryan. Just a hospital pass. And here off the Vietnam turnover, there might be something, you know. That's a horrible challenge on Rogic. Should be a card. This referee's been extremely lenient on pretty much everything.
he's let a lot go.
Yeah.
Usually
He
to
hasn't booked
Australia's
anyone,
favour,
has he?
but
Somebody complain about, do we have anyone in Australian football willing to run at an opponent? He's on the bench. But apparently, because he can't run like the Terminator and doesn't exist on a diet of bread and water until he's, playing week in and week out again, we're not allowed to like him.
he's just been given everything, Joey. Just everything handed to him. Got to earn it. This might be controversial, but I don't think you have to earn it. I just think you have to be
good enough.
the best player that can be introduced.
Yeah, you don't even have to be the best player at everything. You just have to have a role to play.
Yeah.
Right. Especially at when the games mean a lot more. You're good enough.
I guess Arnie has made the decision that he doesn't want a player to take somebody on, on the left-hand side, lose the ball, and then have his hands on his hips and not track back. That's apparently not what Australia needs in this situation. We need Jimmy Jago.
Yeah, switch on.
Rogic is he's had a good game.
I think so too. I think his
He's
contributions have
definitely
always
started
been good. Like
He
hasn't
started well.
Yeah, first
he hasn't
half
had too
was
much of
better
the
than
ball,
the
but
second.
he's used it well.
Nobody's really been good in the second half.
No.
Yeah.
I remember Rogic's goal was against the Saudis in Adelaide last year. Or not last year, last qualifiers.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
It was 3-2 win. Tommy Uric scored, I think, a brace that day too.
Oh, please don't let us be undone by a ball over the top. So we got it at the scoreboard disappearing again.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we're back.
Because they sort of there you go. It's almost a bit of like a novelty. Especially now, it feels like a novelty seeing Australia live, like in person, like going to a Socceroos game.
I don't even know how many times I've seen the Socceroos live. I reckon it's probably only once, to be honest. Against Japan,
Was that the MCG?
it was probably Etihad Stadium back then. It was a good 3-4 years ago, I think.
Against my better judgment, I did watch us get thumped at the MCG by Brazil. Brazil reserves, I should say.
Yeah. Against Honduras.
I think I watched a game against, maybe it was a qualifier against Jordan at Amy Park.
There was a game against Thailand.
Robbie Cruz played really well.
Frustrating bloody 90 minutes ever.
Yeah, I wasn't there. But my goodness. Well, how many chances did we waste that day?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it was a goal difference situation. It was to avoid the playoff, which...
Yeah. Needed to win by, I think, a few goals.
We only got one, I think. Or two. It was 2-1, actually. Thailand scored in that game.
Yeah.
Loch Ness asks, is the ref starting to look gassed? The bloke hasn't really been bothered for much of the 90 minutes.
Aside from the one sprint to the monitor, I think he hasn't really moved much between the boxes.
That's his heat map. It's just a line.
Yeah.
Like the Stephen Gerrard one.
Yeah.
Line onto the field and a line off. Sorry, Husey.
Yeah, we don't need to be talking about that.
Actually, no, he's every time he blows for a foul, he runs in. It looks like he's going to book someone, but he's just doing it to get in the way of any potential.
He has given a few warnings.
Kerfuffle afterwards. So he does do a few little short sprints. Quick over the first 5 yards. Oh, nicely done, Jago.
Yeah.
Under pressure in a difficult situation, just to instead of playing the ball back to Ryan, then he hoofs it. Little clip over the challenge and finds Moy. Good stuff. Looking for the little positives. I was accused of being somewhat anti-Graham Arnold's teams in the past. So I'm trying to find the little gems.
I mean, pretending, I'm not sure if we do or not, pretending there is one sub left. You still got 5 minutes to put Arzani on. Make me look like a genius. And also, it would be good for Arzani. Like, legit.
Oh, that's
I'm
not
not sure.
Here we go.
I'm not sure why Mabil looks like he's going to play 90 in this one.
Yeah.
I don't think Mabil generated enough to justify it.
Definitely agreed.
And I think the dynamics of the game haven't suited him as time has worn on. So Sutar's not even come up for this one.
No.
Has he? No, there he's at
there
the
he
back.
is.
Yeah, he's there.
How did we miss him? Come on.
Just put it on his head. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
So that's like the first time they've like targeted Sutar on like the 5th corner in the 86th minute.
And not once have we put him at the front post.
I know.
Not once.
So deep.
It's much easier to hit the front post than the back post. IMO.
Oh, here we go.
That's offside.
Wait, is he offside?
It has to be.
Yeah. Another disallowed goal for a Socceroos striker tonight.
So we've won 3-0, you know.
I mean, that goal was about a million miles offside.
Yeah, and the first one was a million miles out of bounds, so not complaining.
Would have been
Mitch Duke didn't seem too surprised.
Would have been suitably fitting, though. Both Socceroos goals coming off Vietnamese turnovers in a game in which they'll probably have around 70% possession.
We got a VAR review.
No way.
No,
for what?
Just checking. Just double checking. Should have run over to the monitor to make sure.
Yeah, taking a couple of minutes.
Well, like absolute scenes if like the Vietnamese left back that wasn't even on screen was playing him on side.
He's like off the pitch.
Yeah, it doesn't look like. I think you were the chat was right in that he has used up all these windows. No more subs. Doesn't look like we're getting any more.
I was going to say, whatever happened to the only one coach standing up in the technical area rule? There's 3 of them up in the Vietnam.
They only enforced it at under 15s level.
Fourth officials jumped over.
I don't know.
This has been a bad second half.
I might give you my post-game analysis now, Josh, in case you're clipping clips or anything for the YouTubes or whatever, or Twitters. But it's just, this game has you. There's 2 ways to look at this game, and in a way, both sets of analysis are correct. This hasn't been a good Socceroos performance, especially in the second half. In the first half, they were a blunt instrument going against an embedded Vietnamese defense. And in the end, it took a turnover for the dam to finally break. And then
that is beautiful from Rogic, by the way.
Come on, my Bill. Prove us wrong,
oh no! Come on, Bill.
He proved me right.
And again.
And again.
He's gassed. He's done. He should have been subbed off. You're right.
Yeah. And then in the second half, the level of risk aversion in possession from the Socceroos, not wanting to give Vietnam opportunities to get out transition. All they did was let Vietnam back in the game. They've clearly got their tails up. And if anything, they've looked even more dangerous as a result. On the other hand, it's a 1-0 win. Australia are 2 from 2 in this phase of qualification.
Not a 1-0 win yet, Joey.
I said I'm doing my post-game analysis now. Vietnam haven't lost at home in like 3 years or something. Maybe even longer. I'd have to double check that. This is Vietnam's first ever home qualifier at this stage of qualification. The pitch is a farm, is agricultural. It's like 100% humidity. What am I saying? Arnold's has been living out of a suitcase for 4 months. So maybe you can't look a gift horse in the mouth.
3 minutes.
It is a gift in some ways. I mean, with the handball non-decision.
Sorry, Vietnam haven't lost at home in 6 years.
Wow.
But they don't usually make it to this point. So
still.
I mean, Rogic's work to set up Mobile just before was absolutely phenomenal. And he's comfortably man of the match for me.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else comes close because I don't think anyone else has had a good game.
Only had one good half. I think Suto was excellent in the first half.
Oh.
And another late challenge goes down, which finally get a yellow card. Sure.
Come on, referee.
Nothing.
No.
You ran over there.
Left him in the change room.
100% intent. I guess why book him now? There's only 2 minutes to go.
I wonder what Ange is thinking watching this, given that Rogic hasn't played full 90 minutes for Celtic in like 2 years.
Oh, he went in quite.
That was an exaggeration, by the way. I'm sure he has.
Well, he was at a good time in the UK, about 1 p.m. their time.
It's like, leave Rogic be. We need him for Ross County.
Win a pen.
Give him a break, Ross.
All over there. It's another corner.
No. Goal kick. 1 minute.
Gee, look at him.
Well, this has felt like a marathon, this game. It's really dragged.
Yeah.
Dragged in a nervous, kind of unpleasant way. There were moments in the first half when I was almost enjoying watching the national team. Not quite, but...
Oh, you're going to give him one last chance, aren't you? I thought I heard a whistle there. Oh, you bum. That's all right.
But I mean, it is the path to qualification, isn't it? You win at home and you bank as many points as you can against the minnows on the road.
Yeah.
That's the formula.
Oh, my God.
Oh, right. Oh.
I reckon that was offside.
I think he has flagged it too, but it doesn't matter. The boys are home.
I mean, addressing that question, about our best 11, I don't think Mobile is necessarily in it. I know this hasn't been his best showing, and he can do better than this, but I tend to think he should be on the fringes of first team selection instead of being one of the first names on the team sheet. job done.
I can't even remember.
3 points.
Oh, Ryan Grant. Feels like ages ago.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Well, you've given us your full-time analysis, Joey. Any final thoughts from Athos and Hughesy?
Well, I think bank the 4 points. Won't worry about watching the replay.
4 points. What sport?
So what's the extra point for, Athos?
3 points. Bonus point for winning away. Thank you for win the replay. And now we look forward to the other few games of qualifying because we've got quite a few to make up given the World Cup is in 15 months. Very, very soon.
Yeah, I think
Olivia goes to it.
All right. Go and read Joey's match report when it goes up on ESPN and The Guardian, by the way, to all of our viewers. And a big thank you to Joey Lynch for joining us. Vivek says, thank you for the watch along, guys. Couldn't have made it through the marathon without you, lol.
Yeah.
And honestly, Vivek, you've been fantastic. We love the comments. Adds so much to the live stream. And
yeah, brilliant.
Big hello to everybody who's discovered us from for the first time this evening. Hope you join us for future shows and future watch-alongs. We cover Australian football and European, stuff as well. So, question marks over a lot of that, but we soldier on top of the group at least, and hopefully, Japan won't make us look silly in a few weeks.
No.
Yeah.
And it's away, which, like that first big test against Japan's away, which just makes it even harder. But
I'm not looking forward to us coming up against my boy Taki Minamino.
The thing is about that game will feel huge. Like even though this is the next round, when we come up against Japan, it'll feel like a massive game, and we'll be on edge for the 90 minutes. I'm looking forward to anxiously watching the Socceroos again, of having that sort of that real nervous feeling.
Well, anything in a vaguely friendly time slot will be accompanied by an FNO watch along, so make sure you tune in again next time. Athos, Hughesy, thank you very much for your company, and we'll catch you again very, very soon. We've got another show coming up on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be back every week on Tuesdays from 5 p.m. as well with myself, Nick Dabano, Lockie Flanagan, and the other usual FNR crew members. Until